In a recent post on our social media platforms, I asked the question, should Blackpool Pleasure Beach bring back free entry? Now on Facebook there was over 3,000 comments and reactions at least, and that was a couple of days ago when I looked, and on Twitter there wasn't quite as many responses, but there was still a big sort of, I don't know what you would describe, there was a lot of interactions with that post. So we're going to talk about it in this video. It's a subject that I didn't think we'd be covering again, because I was pretty sure that before COVID, with the walk round pass and the wristbands, that Pleasure Beach had kind of got a method that worked. Now of course during COVID I could completely understand why Pleasure Beach went to pay one price sort of operations at the park, with there being a lack of space here and not wanting overcrowding, with people having literally nowhere other than seaside resorts to go on holiday. However, it has been quite noticeable this year, especially on the bank holiday weekends and over Easter, that at Blackpool Pleasure Beach there is times where the park has been really, really quiet, and you think like, if the walk round pass was still there, they'd potentially make more money on food, drink and the game sales that are all around the park, whereas they might not get as many people on the rides still. The rides might still be quite quiet, but in general they might get more people spending. As you can probably see behind us, we are the only people sat outside of Burger King right now. So I'm going to pass the camera to Mike now, who's going to give his thoughts first, and then I'll talk a little bit more about it. I think we've got fairly similar opinions on this, but there might be some variations at points.
Should free entry come back? In my book, no. However, should things change around pricing, entry policies, things like that, even operating times? Definitely. For example, today, it's a bank holiday Monday, the sun's out, it's 21 degrees or something, and yet the roads were really busy coming into Blackpool. It took us 20 minutes to find somewhere to park. Sandcastle is sold out, and yet Pleasure Beach is quite quiet, really. I mean, we've stood on Wallace's walkway before on the overpass. There's literally like 4 people walking across it. Now, even in recent years, I can remember that being absolutely rammed. So, what's got to change? Well, in my book, first thing is bring back the £6 entry pass. Because, yeah, the rides don't make the money here anymore like they did in the 90s. It's everything else is what makes the money now. It's your secondary spend, it's your coffee shops, it's your burgers, it's your bars. That's what's making you the money at the end of the day, your merchandise, things like that. So, to that respect, surely it makes more sense to get someone in at £6 and then have them spend another £16 in the park, while some of, say, other family members come in on full price and use the rides, than have none of them come in and nobody spend a penny here. Surely some money is better than no money at the end of the day, because it feels like no one's coming in. And so many of the comments I see online, and as reflected in those social media posts, a lot of the comments were relating to people saying, well, it's too expensive for families to come in, so we just don't go. Especially cost of living and all that kind of thing. People are being selective. Now, if it's already 200 quid for a family to come in, that's too much in my book.
Picking up from what Mike's saying, I think I agree. It's one of them where you look at Blackpool Seafront. Even an example, we were here on 20th of May, and the park was really quite quiet. We had a group of 100 here, and every time we went in a queue line, we were kind of the queue. Whereas before it, the rides were walk on, and after it, the rides were walk on. So I just assumed that Blackpool was really, really quiet that day. And then I left the park to get on a tram to go up to where I was staying with Becca, up by the tower. And I was genuinely shocked at how busy Blackpool was. There was literally people shoulder to shoulder on the trams. There was people who couldn't get on the tram because it was so busy. It reminded me of going to Man United on the Metrolink, when everyone piles on at Manchester Piccadilly, and it's like, we've got no shoulder space here. It was literally like that, and I'm thinking, where have these people been all day? Well, they've been everywhere in Blackpool except for Blackpool Pleasure Beach, and that's got to be a concern, surely.
Half of them are on the pier.
There's obviously a clear issue with the pricing. Blackpool Pleasure Beach's pricing, as I've said before, is actually quite in line with their competitors. When you look at the prices at Flamingo Land, Alton Towers, Drayton Manor, Hultons Park, Chessington, Fort Park, all these parks are charging. They're all charging around the same price. But the one big difference is Blackpool Pleasure Beach is not a theme park. No matter how much it wants to be, it is a seaside amusement park, and as such, it has a totally different target audience of people from Drayton Manor, Alton Towers, and all its local or 2-3 hour radius competitors. It has people, when it's sunny, people go, let's go to Blackpool. You don't get that, if at 12 o'clock on a Monday, you don't go, oh, actually, let's go to Drayton Manor. If it's sunny, you go, let's go to Blackpool, because you assume the Pleasure Beach will be open, the piers will be open, and everything will be open till 7, 8, 9 o'clock. But today, Pleasure Beach shuts at 5 o'clock. It's 40 odd quid on the gate. There's no walk round fee. The park's dead. Surely it all fits in together for the same reasoning. Now my arm's aching, so it's Mike's turn to talk again.
Something that I noticed in the past, like as a season pass holder, I don't really pay much attention to how much it is online or how much is on the gate particularly. I sort of have an idea of what the headline prices are, but it shocked me to find that on what are relatively quiet days, when I had a look on the website the other day, that the cheapest ticket available was a junior ticket at something like £34, and then an adult was £38 or £39 in advance. One of the things was pointed out was, why is it £34 for a junior ticket when they can only go on half of the rides because of height restrictions? Fair point. Why is that not £20, something like that? In advance, maybe £30 on the day. And the fact that there doesn't seem to be any real incentive to book early. Like, before COVID, there used to be like about a £25 full wristband if you booked like 4 or 5 weeks in advance. That seems to have gone. Now, that must have brought a fair few people in. Something else as well I'd look at is the opening times, because open at 10 today, the park was quiet, well, really quiet, all bar. Icon had its customary half-hour, three-quarter of an hour built-up queue. Big One had a sort of a 20-minute built-up queue at opening. Rest of the park's dead. But then we've walked past near the entrance and Ice Blast at 11:30, and there's the crowds that are coming in were coming in at 11:30. Now, would that not surely make sense then to be looking at having the park opening between 11 and past for a 12 o'clock or 11:30 ride opening, and shut at maybe 8 or 9 o'clock? Another thing I mentioned, or I sort of suggested on that thread, was in the evenings bringing back the walk round, the sort of 15 or 20 quid like after 4 PM ticket, maybe 4 till 8 or 4 till 9. Yeah, sure, you might get a few people that will not pay the £35 or £40 and wait an hour to come in, but again, surely you'll get more people in paying 20 quid than you were going to make off a handful of people paying 40 quid.
I get that they've got big costs, but you've also got to question some of the decisions that have been made. If, like, the running costs of the park are so high, if the running costs are so high, why did Valhalla get brought back? Why was it not removed and replaced with an alternative attraction, or even removed with a view to an alternative going in its place at some point when things get a little bit easier? Why is hot ice on? Two things that rely on a lot of money being spent on them and require a lot of manpower. Anyway, we're going to take a walk around the park and see if it's got any busier, and we'll continue this debate somewhere else in the park.
please unfasten your seatbelts. Whilst entering the station, please unfasten your seatbelts.
Okay, so you can see behind me, the Icon queue looks relatively busy. I wouldn't say busy because it's on sort of 1+ ENSO. But the walkways are still pretty quiet. There's not huge numbers of people milling round. So quoting someone from many moon ago on the telly, big queues don't spend money. Unfortunately, ENSO's been going round empty while we've just been sat having a drink, and it turns out the reason for that is because the app's down.
Valhalla has only just opened at 1 o'clock here today, so my guess is that everything that did have a queue around here probably now doesn't because everyone's gone to Valhalla. But I still think that it is a very quiet day because if it was busy, everything would still have a queue and not just one or two rides. So
also, even this area will be packed.
Yeah, there'd be lots of people sat around here eating their dinner and everything, but I've literally just walked into the ice lounge and got food straight away, so it's definitely a quiet day. And if we have a look behind us, there's just no one about.
There is something else I'd like to say about sort of pricing and whatnot as well.
Go for it.
If you are going to keep the
pay one price.
Yeah, pay one price. E-tickets, get rid of them. They are the biggest nuisance known to man.
Yeah.
They don't work. Half the scanners don't work properly, or you're faffing about with your phone for 5 minutes trying to get it work.
Yeah.
Or then you've got take it on Valhalla and get it absolutely swamped.
Yeah.
Or take it in your pocket. I mean, I literally witnessed 2 incidents in about 5 minutes a couple of weeks ago of people having to take the. And this was actually on Nickelodeon Street, and there was some kids had gone on. Now they had to take the phone on the ride so they could get on the ride, but then they were asking where they could leave it while they were on the ride because they didn't have any pockets or a bag.
Yeah.
And they had to literally hold their phone in the hand going round.
And you know what that encourages? Filming on rides, which is not allowed unless you've taken your phone on and scan onto a ride, and then you've got it in your hand anyway because there's nowhere to leave it. So I think it's a flawed system, this e-ticket scanning. If they're not going to bring back the walk round pass, then the scanning onto rides really should be scrapped because it is a pain in the arse for everybody. It's a pain in the arse for guests, pain in the arse for staff. I don't see the point of it. If it's just for point scoring when people are complaining at guest services, then that's just staff reason to have it. I think it's one or the other. Bring back the walk round pass or scrap the e-ticket scanning. It really has got to be one or the other.
I still don't think it proves anything anyway because the amount of time it has to be overridden.
Yeah,
exactly. It doesn't work. Just proves the point that people haven't been on a ride. They might have been, but because they haven't scanned that ticket, or they've ended up just scanning 3 of the same ticket to get on because it's the only one that works, it completely makes the point a bit irrelevant to start with.
So let's draw our conclusions here. Free entry, no. Walk round pass,
yes.
Yes. That's all from us today. Let us know in the comments what you think. Should Blackpool Pleasure Beach return to being a free entry amusement park, or should the walk round pass come back, or should it just stay as it is? Let us know in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time. Many thanks for watching.